All right. On this episode of Better Call Saul, we are going to talk about what your clients are asking you is now the right time to buy. And we have the answer. So with Rachael Real and I is Saul Klein. How you doing, Saul?
I'm doing good. Good to see you guys again.
Good. Hi,
You
Rachael.
too. Hey, everybody.
All right, Saul. So all of our clients are asking, and there's a lot of opinions about this. Is now the right time to buy?
Yeah. So I see realtors asking this question all the time.
Right.
And because they're, if you don't feel 100% like you're doing the right thing for somebody.
Yeah. That's
Right.
what they hire us for.
hesitate-
Yeah.
You hesitate in your passion to move them forward.
Absolutely. It's a perfect way to say it.
Right. So I came up with just kind of thinking today, because I've been reading a lot about this. And first of all, the interesting thing was, there's about 6 million transactions a year. Year after year after year. And last year, they're like 5.5 million. And the latest figures from NAR is even with a slowdown based on an increase in interest rates, they're still expecting 5.3 or something million.
Oh, so it's not.
So real estate sells. Good times, bad times, uncertainty, certainty. People got to move. Real estate is about, right? So we know that this market's going to continue to some degree. And if interest rates really escalate, it could really slow things down. But right now, it looks like.
Maybe not, right?
Well, the Fed has to be careful because the biggest payer of interest is the federal government, and the federal government doesn't have enough money anyway. So is this a good time to buy?
Different topic.
Right? Yeah, that's right. Different. Is this a good time to buy? And I think it is. If you need to buy, you should buy. And well, what are the reasons? Well, here's the first one, and we hear about it a lot. There's a lack of supply. Mm-hmm. There's just not enough property available. We're 3 to 4 million units short.
That's a bad reason that's why you don't buy.
Well, so because of that, there's a shortage.
Yeah.
You buy something, there's still going to be a demand. There's not enough to replace, right?
That's
so
true.
It's a good time. If you're going to buy because there isn't a whole lot in the pipeline.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's a good time to buy because of the lack of supply and demand, not enough supply. Big demand, price is going to go up, right? Now they won't go up like they've gone up before, but good time to buy is because of the lack of supply. There's also a pent-up demand. Now you say, what do you mean there's a pent-up demand? Well, I keep reading for the last couple of years of these agents that are making 20 and 30 and 40 and 50 offers and nothing's getting accepted. Well, how frustrated is the buyer?
Very.
Okay?
They're as frustrated as the agent. Welcome to our life.
Yeah, they might even be able to qualify for more, but nothing's available. So now maybe it's going to open up. Inventory might go up. It might open up some opportunity for people to buy where they could buy something because they have the money that wasn't available to them before.
Right.
That might be another reason. Rates are still historically low.
Right.
6% sounds outrageous. Yeah, it's doubled right in the last couple of months, but still.
But where we were was ridiculously superficially low. So in all reality, my first house was like 7-something%. And of course, when my parents bought way back when, it was in the high teens.
But I think the argument is like, okay, interest rates are higher than they were. But the reality is if you didn't buy then and you still need a place to live, like now's the time, right? Like,
what's the interest rate on rent?
Right, exactly. But even like, okay, let's say you buy now and then the interest rates goes down, which a lot of people don't believe that's going to happen. But let's say it does, you can refinance. But what if it goes up again? Now you're like, damn,
well, then you're good.
I bought when it was low. Oh, wait, I wish I would have bought when it was even lower. You know what I mean?
But then here's the other thing, that rents are going crazy because there's not enough supply.
Yeah.
Well, if rents are going crazy,
we have the same problem with that, right?
And look at, you're making this monthly payment and the interest is really your rent. Consider whatever that is, it's probably less than you would pay if you were renting.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right. And the rest is equity buildup. So interest rates are still low. So because they've gone up, doesn't mean they're bad.
Yeah.
Right.
So interest rates are still low. Real estate is a hedge against inflation. Has been, always will be. So when there's inflation, we want to buy things we call equity assets, of which real estate is a type. So you want to buy real estate, and because it will help you overcome the inflation. I give you this crazy example. I live in Southern California, right? And
we're sorry.
But I'm old, so it's okay. So I live in this house. It's probably worth worth the wrong word, but if I put on the market, I'd sell it for 1.1 million or something, right?
Okay.
Now it's
now you live in a shoebox, Saul.
Not a $1.1 million house. My wife paid $20,000 for it.
Wow.
Right.
Now, what made it go? It's like, so it's not like the house got more valuable, really. What happened is the dollar lost purchasing power. A big piece of that dollars lost purchasing power, right? So real estate's a hedge against inflation, and will continue to be a hedge against inflation. And we're looking at more inflation for the next year or two, or who knows how long, right? So that's another reason. And then one more is that because of the shortage of properties, there are less people out there that are able to speculate because of the availability of property that fits their criteria just isn't there, right?
You're talking about like people that are flipping, people that are landlords. Yeah, it's been hard as like a landlord to find property that might, but well, I guess we were going to think about talking this on another kind of episode, but you have a lot of like corporations, hedge funds buying a lot of single family houses for rent.
Well, we could add that as another one on this list, and we can talk about it here, right?
Yeah.
And we could say that back to this idea of demand, there over many years, and investors have invested in real estate on large scales, real estate investment trusts and limited partnerships, and right, this has taken place for a number of years, but typically not houses, not single family, and a big
they've been like giant apartment buildings.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And even for small in syndication groups, an 8-unit apartment building, because this is just, to manage. But nowadays they have management companies that they farm this out to. And because of the 2008 recession and what the government did to kind of push us out of that recession, we see that there, continues to be this desire to own real estate. As interest rates went down to zero, we had all this money sitting on the sidelines saying, where do we invest? And the real estate was skyrocketing in value. So we know what, that's not a bad place to invest. And we can even, and if we have all this cash, we don't even need to finance it. We might later, but we can just go in and buy cash.
Yeah.
And we're not worried if we overpay for it at all, because really we're long-term hold. And over the long term, because there's going to be inflation, it's going to be worth more. So you've got this new demand.
It can be like riskier than like just like me as a landlord. They can like take a bigger risk.
Yeah. So now you've got this new source of demand coming into the marketplace. We're behind on building.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a shortage. The interest rates are still low. But all these reasons that people who need to buy a house should buy a house.
Yeah.
That waiting around to do it is not the answer. And if you're waiting for the big collapse, everything that I've read, and I spend a lot of time studying this, is that people say, and real estate's local. There might be a big collapse somewhere, right?
Yeah.
But if you've done your research, you know what's going on in your city, you know what happened to the population, you know what's happening to growth, then those types of collapses are not going to come. Now, might we see wholesale foreclosure? Nobody's really saying that's going to happen, right?
Right.
Yeah, but I can sit around and wait and hope it does.
But I think that's the point, right? It's like, okay, your clients are asking you, is now the right time to buy? It really, I think it does depend, right? Like, do you have to buy? What is your, like, are you buying for investment? Like, you have to get some more information. It's not like a blanket answer. And Rachel, this is where a buyer consultation,
agency, right, and a buyer consultation, a buyer agency agreement comes in really handy.
It comes in super handy because it allows you to figure out what is their specific situation and does it really make sense for them to buy now? I mean,
do the alternative comparison. Look at rental in the market for the same type of property or less.
Oh my God.
Look at the amortization on the loan payment. How much is interest and how much is principal? Principal is just you're putting money back in your own pocket.
Are you asking real estate agents to do math?
That's their thing, right? That's
just
their
Google.
thing. At least it should be if they're consultants.
Yeah, right.
Math,
Take a math class. That's going to be in our business school for realtors. Is going to be a math class. So making math fun.
So you look at that. You're making a $3,000 a month payment, and $2,500 is interest, and $500 is, I'm just making this up.
Yeah.
And $500 is principal reduction. then you look at the rental market. If there's $2,800 is the rental market, then no
there is no principal or equity there. Right. It's all
well,
going to interest.
And that's the thing. Like people are like, well, the prices are like higher than they were before. Well, one, we can't go to the past, right? And two, exactly what you're saying. Yeah, but let's say your interest rate right now is 6%. Let's say it's 6%. If interest rates go up to 8%, you are going to be paying more for the house, even if the house price is lower, because you're paying that interest. So would you rather every month,
Right. Your buying power goes down for every percentage point that interest rate goes up. So while right now you might be able to afford 250 or 275, if that rate starts creeping up, you're only going to be able to afford 225 to 250. So there's a big difference there. The rates going up have priced a lot of people out of the market.
Well, and even so, let's say you could keep it at the same payment. Okay. Like, let's say it's the same payment and you're paying your $3,000 mortgage payment, but do you want 500 to go to the bank or do you want 800 to go to the bank of the same payment?
Exactly.
Most people want the less amount to go to the bank and more to them.
Absolutely.
Well, then you buy it now. You don't wait until interest rates rise.
And nobody calculates it this far out, but think about that over 360 payments.
Right. Yeah. Please, let's not.
Don't do that.
Let's think about an extra $200 a month, right?
Right. Let's not talk about that.
Times,
That's the piece of paper at the closing that you tuck in the bottom of the folder because you really don't ever want to look at it.
That money you borrowed, that low interest rate, could be one of the most important things you ever did financially in your life.
Yeah.
I have a good friend, somebody who worked for me at one of our old companies when we sold it, and he went to work, and he was it was a technology company, but he was interested in real estate, and I was a real estate person. So I was kind of pointing him in to buy this house, buy this rental property, and about a year and a half ago, he came to me and he was being transferred to Santa Barbara, and he wanted to know what he should do. I said, you should buy a house in Santa Barbara, restricted area, smart, and interest rates like 2%. And so borrow as much money as you can.
Borrow,
right.
All the money.
So he did. He moved to Santa Barbara and he ended up buying like $2 million house. Not that he was a rich guy, that's what it costs to buy.
Right. It's just what it is.
And he got a 2% loan. Well, now loans are 6%. Imagine how much he's saving.
So much money
for the rest of his life. I mean, that's like, you would never move out of a house like that because
no, you keep it. It's free money. Yeah, it's crazy. Well, I mean, I think for most people, if they're considering buying a house, it does make sense to do it now, but I think that also too, just because somebody asks you a question, as real estate agents, it's not our job. We don't have to answer a question just because somebody asks. It's your job to consult. So be that consultant. A lot of people just ask because that's what's all over the news. And they're like, well, should we do that? Let's ask that. And they're just asking as like a gut reaction. They're not really asking.
Right. Well, and if somebody really wants to know, should they do it now? Then you as the agent should have about 10 follow-up questions to that to really hammer down what it is that they're looking for.
What's the alternative?
Right. What are you planning to do?
You want them to ask you those questions.
Absolutely.
Now you can demonstrate expertise. You can build trust and confidence. It's really important. And this kind of gripes me. So I participate, like you guys, a lot of social media. And I see this every once in a while. I'll post something and then somebody say, well, what are you telling your clients about the economy? And then people actually write back, that's not in my lane. I stay out of my lane.
Right.
And so I say, hey, somebody bought out, they get some tax benefits. You ever explain taxes to you? Oh, that's out of my lane. No, that's right in the middle of your lane. And you should be able to answer those kinds of questions. And it's the stupidest thing I ever heard of for people to claim that things that have to do with economics are out of your lane when you sell real estate to people. It's nuts. These people are incompetent to make comments like that. Now, we're not saying get somebody's tax return, analyze it carefully.
Right. We're not saying to go and
tell them what the tax cost. That's not what we're saying, right?
No.
Right.
Stay in your lane.
Look, stay out of my lane. That's what I want people to do. Have you guys seen that meme where it's like there's 3 places you can go for free, like in your lane, out of my way, and something? Have you guys seen that?
No. No, but it sounds good. It sounds very appropriate.
It's hilarious. Well, Rachel, if people have some clients that they want to refer to you in Chicago, how do they get a hold of you?
Best way to reach me is by cell phone, text or call 630-542-8688, or online at dealwithreal.com.
Awesome. And Saul, thank you for all the context always. If people want more information and more context about the real estate industry, how do they get a hold of you? Where's the best place to get that?
So you can always send me email, Saul at bettercallsaul.realtor, or follow me on LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter, or our website, The Data Advocate. So go to thedataadvocate.com, thedataadvocate.com. And all these things that are taking place in the industry today, we're trying to stay on top of it and bring you as much information about it as we can, because this is a changing world. And this is when, as
So
Jennifer and Rachel, you know, you have to be asking yourself those questions, right? What's currently possible?
Yes.
And if it were impossible, it would fundamentally change the way you do business, because we're going to see a lot of those things.
This is such a good question,
sure
and
are.
also a very scary question. Like, oh shit.
Yeah, that's what we intend. That's the intention of asking it.
Right.
Have another White Claw. No. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, guys.